competitions at a national level, also we'll have conversations. Conversations which involve deliberations. Deliberations from the experts to solve various problems. Not all problems can be solved, but can they be deliberated? Can we find some potential solutions? तो क्या हम बातचीत करके लोगों के अनुभवों को समझ करके कुछ सॉल्यूशंस निकाल सकते हैं? तो इसी सिलसिले में सबसे पहले ही जो हमारा सेशन है वो है इंक्लूसिव मेजर्स फॉर प्रमोटिंग एक्सेसिबिलिटी एंड कोलैबोरेशन एंड ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. हम चाहते हैं कि ये पूरी दुनिया बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सेसिबल हो, इंक्लूसिव हो. दिव्यांगजन और साधारण व्यक्ति, साधारण मानव में कोई भेदभाव नहीं हो. जैसे दिव्यांगजन वैसे ही साधारण व्यक्ति. और जो समस्याएं, जो दुविधाएं दिव्यांगजनों को आती हैं, उनको कैसे सुलझाया जाए, इसके लिए मैं आमंत्रण देना चाहता हूं श्री संदीप भार्गवा जी का, जो सीईओ और फाउंडर हैं लीप एडटेक लर्निंग प्राइवेट लिमिटेड के. ही इज ऑल्सो द नेशनल एडवाइजरी बोर्ड मेंबर ऑफ सार्थक. 40 साल से ज़्यादा का एक्सपीरियंस है उनको पॉलिसी मेकिंग में, रेगुलेटरी लैंडस्केप में, स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नमेंट कोलैबोरेशन में. ही ऑल्सो सर्व्ड एज द EVP फॉर Executive Vice President for Vodafone India Limited. He currently advises multinational corporations, mentors startups, and leverages his extensive expertise on public policy and corporate affairs. Sandeep Bhargava ji. He will be moderating the panel, and we have a set of distinguished panelists. Miss Anuradha Chimalapati ji. She is the senior manager in rural management and sustainability. इन्होंने गांव में बहुत अच्छा काम किया है. Anuradha ji spearheads the impactful CSR and ESG initiatives for the foundation. Can I request Anuradha ji to come on the stage? A round of applause for Anuradha ji. जिसने भारत के गांव को समझ लिया, उसने भारत को समझ लिया. और शायद अनुराधा जी अपना कुछ विचार हम सब तक प्रस्तुत करेंगे, क्योंकि आज हम भौतिकता और व्यावसायिकता में इतने जुड़े हुए हैं. कैन वी लर्न अ फ्यू थिंग्स फ्रॉम अनुराधा जी इन द प्रोसेस? प्रोफेसर रणधीर राठौर, प्रोफेसर ऑफ पॉलिसी मेकिंग रिसर्च ऑफ श्री विश्वकर्मा स्किल यूनिवर्सिटी हरियाणा. प्रोफेसर रणधीर राठौर जी, a warm welcome to an educationist who's shaping the policy and the future of Bharat. With his background, he has contributed extensively for skill development policies, and his leadership roles in AICTE have only promoted this. The third panelist is Miss Geetanjali Tripathi ji. So she will join us in some time. She is the Assistant General Manager from Tata Power Distribution Company. Then we have Ms. Madhu Bala Sharma ji. She is the Senior Program Manager, Inclusive Experiences and Technologies, Amazon. Amazon, we all know, one of the leading multinationals. And Ms. Sharma, with over 21 years of experience in leadership development, diversity, equity, and inclusion, specializes in designing comprehensive inclusion programs and advocating marginalized communities. Her work through the years has created a meaningful impact in the lives of millions. Welcome all the panelists. Over to you, Mr. Bhargav.
Thank you for setting the context. Mic has to be switched on. Yeah, thank you. So, thank you all for being here right early in the morning amidst all the traffic. And especially we have guests from Russia, I believe. And so I'll be using interchangeably English and Hindi, and I hope you understand English very well. And the panelists along with me. On my left is Anuradha, then we have Professor Randhir, then we have Ms. Madhubala Sharma, and we are expecting Madam Geetanjali to join us in a few moments. So thank you for being here. And the topic for us for the first panel is about government and the CSR. So how to bridge the gap and business and belonging. So basically the whole idea of the Sarthak setup has been to bring in inclusiveness amongst the candidates who come here for skilling, make them as part of the society and let them lead a normal life. So that's been the motto. And in the last 16 years, I think we have brought thousands of people from different walks of life, getting skilled and trained over here and joining corporates or some companies here and there or banks or any sector to serve purposeful jobs and make their lives meaningful. So there is a lot of role of the government and businesses to be played in making them self-sustainable. So the topic for us is the role of CSR in promoting disability, inclusion and empowerment. So this is a very interwoven area where we need to really think loud, and we have panelists here along with me who are experts in their own domains. And for this panel, I think we have some key points which I would lay over for each one of them to understand. And we will talk about how equal opportunities do exist in today's time in different corporates and by the policies which have been developed by the government, how to really skill them. What is the skill development programs which are happening in the country? And we have an expert from that sector, Professor Randhir, with us. And skilling is, as you know, is the prime focus of this organization. Sarthak has been skilling on people, making them more inclusive. So inclusive culture, how do you really promote good culture within your organizations with people from the Divyangjan community joining them? So there is a lot of interaction which happens between them. So what kind of a culture you promote? What kind of advocacy initiatives you take to really attract them to your corporates, to make them come to the companies? So while we train them, we skill them, but there is always a challenge for once they join to retain them in the company, because it's not very easy. So far before skilling, they have had led their easy lives, बहुत ही आसान जिंदगी बिताते हैं, और generally वो अपने parents या अपने family members पे एक तरह से बोझा ही होते हैं. But with skilling over here, they transform their lives, their lifestyle is changed. And instead of being an expenditure account, they become a revenue account. They start earning, they start getting salaries from companies, so they are earning members. So a lot of perspective changes, and this change of perspective, when it was easy money to them, but now they have to work, they have to perform jobs, it makes them very difficult. So how do you really attract them and really promote them within the organization? And community rehabilitation. So how does the community feel? How do we improve upon the community with these kind of opportunities being given? So these are the few outer points I just outlined for them to really deliberate upon. Already the panelists have been introduced, including myself, so I don't need to repeat that. And as the stage is set, I'll give around 10 minutes to each of the participants to talk about what they want to talk about, their own organization or their own feelings or perspectives or what they have achieved in life and how they have really brought them up. Then we'll have a conversation amongst the panelists itself, if there is a topic which you want to really elaborate upon or somebody else wants to speak on somebody else's topic. Then I'll leave it floor open to the Q&A session by the people who are attending here, and maybe, I don't know if it is online as well. So if there is any online questions also coming up, I think that can be brought up and we can answer those. So going forward, a few questions I have framed, and before that I will request the sequence what I have is to really go on. I will request on my left, giving a fair chance to Anuradha ji to really speak on about her views on this subject and how her organization and her previous organizations and her avatar of being connected to the rural India. I think that should be the point of focus from her. So over to you, Anuradha ji.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sandeep, and thank you, Sarthak, for giving me this opportunity to speak and to share my views on this topic. I think this is a great platform where we can interact, share, and seeing this closed group of people. I think we're really going to have a very healthy and a very useful interaction. To start with, as I think Mr. Sandeep has already put across, that I've had a very extensive experience in the rural India. When I say rural, yes, it is the remotest district of the country, Kalahandi, where I've worked with the Dongria Khons. Again, when we talk about DNI, yes, of course, PwDs is there. And the other segment is these, tribal people, the tribes who are, who need that special care as well. So I've got the opportunity and have been blessed to have worked with them in the community. Just a small example. So that was a community where the Niyamgiri Hills, where even the MMUs would not travel. No vehicle could travel. It was just, we used to walk up the hills and serve the community. So I think that is the kind of pain one needs to take, the special effort one needs to take for the special segment of people who require special need. So, so coming back to the topic, PwDs, I think, again, Pernod India Foundation has been extensively working towards this segment and has been serving the community through Sarthak. It's been around 4 to 5 years that we've been engaging with persons with disabilities. And to be precise, we also, we focus mainly on women. I think, of course, PwDs is something that we need attention, but women, again, becomes a very specific cohort that we work with. And the manner, the fashion that we work in is that we initially provide basic skill development for, a basic skill groundwork for all the women with disability, and analyze their skills, and then provide specific skill training to these women. So these specific skill training is basis the ability of the women after the assessment. So it could be IT, it could be retail, it could be any other segment. So once these skills are provided, I think that's when we get into employability, getting them placed, and of course, post that is something that we do is engage with the corporates. And that is, I feel, the major step in the entire process, because it's very important for the corporates to be sensitized. How to engage, how to deal, how to make them feel inclusive. And along with inclusive, I think equal pay comes as a package, should come as a package. And yes, so I think this is the cycle 360-degree angle that we follow. However, having said this, because Mr. Sandeep has given us this opportunity to use this panel for deliberation and discussion, me coming from a CSR background, we have very stringent laws for CSR, wherein we are spending 2% of profits. But I think there are many other specifics mentioned and detailed out for us. Somewhere I feel that is a challenge for corporates like us. So I personally believe that we're doing a lot of work around PwDs, but somewhere or the other, the policy is holding us back. Why holding us back? Because when you talk about, making the corporate inclusive, then there is a role of the HR, then there is the role of the management, right? Which comes into the play. And then there are other policies which get attached. But when we talk about CSR specifically, the narrative or the law ideally suggests that the people whom you train, the people, the place where you're investing, you can't, actually hire them back. But I think that's a very big gap that we have. So it's always, personally, I feel is, when you are training, when you are, making them capable of something, I mean, we are then forced to actually forced to rely on some other corporate or some other source for employment. So I think this is something which I really would want the panelists and the members. I'm sure the people in the crowd are also from this segment and have been working in this sector. So please do share your views and let this narrative reach the government, and let's do something about it, wherein, when we're doing it with the right intent, why not have them in the system? So it becomes more easy and it becomes more sustainable in nature. So yeah, that I will end my thoughts and vision here, and would pass it on to Mr. Sandeep to take it forward.
Thank you, Anuradha, for your views. And going forward, I have a question for you. The kind of, the nature of business you are in, I don't want to comment on that. But what is the government and CSR's role supporting community-based rehabilitation and accessibility projects you would like to do? Because, see, we have, it's the nature of the business you are and the kind of consumption we have. There's a lot of challenges women face for rehabilitation of their families during their hard times. So what are your views, and really what do you think that more of your businesses can support in that domain, or would you want government policies to support you in that domain? So what's your view there?
Thank you for that question. So I think as corporates, and especially like you mentioned, the business that we are into, parallelly we do run multiple initiatives. So we have an initiative that we run, which is under the thrust area of responsible hosting. So that is one big thrust area that we take up very seriously, and we are working towards it dedicatedly. So of course, I think it's just a drop in the ocean. We are bringing in D&I as a component in most of our projects. We are also planning a project in Telangana wherein we are also would like to support the persons with disabilities in the core rural art form. So this is again a multi-pronged approach that we are following. So I think it's a step-by-step process. We are also into incubations wherein we are targeting special cohorts. We've started targeting women as a cohort, and we could also target PwDs, support incubation projects. We could also invest, I think for corporates, again, the challenge that I mentioned, if we do not get into such initiatives, some resources or infrastructure through which the aids, the aids for the PwDs could become more affordable. So I think these are segments which we could collaborate for. And yes, I think we are more dedicated and to work towards responsible hosting, keeping D&I element as well. So we will take it up in a very, broad fashion.
Thank you for promptly responding to the really linked question with your nature of business. So moving on, we'll now get on to Professor Randhir Rathore, who is the Professor of Policy Planning and Research at Shri Vishwakarma Skill University. I'm sure we'll get a lot of expertise, advice on skilling from him, and we look forward to Professor Randhir.
So first of all, thank you, Sandeep ji, and thanks to the Sarthak Foundation for giving all of us this opportunity to come on a common platform to share our ideas, our views on a very important topic, that is the impact on the accessibility. So before coming specifically to the topic, just a quick introduction about the university from where I am coming. This is Shri Vishwakarma Skill University, and Shri Vishwakarma Skill University is first government skill university set up by Government of Haryana. So in 2015, the Government of India came with a policy on skill development and entrepreneurship. And as the outcome of that policy, universities or specialized universities were to be set up at the state level. And Haryana government took this opportunity, and they were the first to set up such kind of university in India. So from 2017 we started working. From 2017 we were working from just a nearby building. We were located in Sector 44 in Gurugram, and we started our programs from Gurugram. Last year we shifted to our full-fledged campus, which is in Palwal district, village Dudhola. So before further going, generally whenever we are going anywhere, a simple question comes that when you are saying that you are a skill university, so what's basically a skill university? Means universities are university. University means to cover something which is there in universe. So what is specific about the skill university? So just to apprise everyone who are present here, that when we are saying a skill university, so now government has also prescribed some norms that which type of the programs will be called skill programs basically. So if generally what happens in the conventional education system from where all of us are coming, most of the time we are inside a classroom, and the learning approach is teacher centric. Means that is a one-way communication. Teacher is speaking and learners are just listening. I'm not saying learners are learning, they are just listening. So most of the time that is happening in most of the institution. But the courses or the programs which are designed in the university, in these programs, the students are out of the classroom for more than 60% of time. Or in terms of credits, if we are saying, so more than 60% of credits they have to earn through either the projects, practicals, on-the-job training, workshops. So only for 40% academic content or educational content they are inside the classroom, and for all remaining they have to be associated either with some industry or with some workshop, something like that. So I will just give you one example to make it further clear. We started our first program with Hero Motocorp, and the two programs we started with Hero Motocorp, the programs were Bachelor Vocation, BVOC we were calling them, because BVOC is a regular bachelor's degree notified by UGC, because which degrees can a university offer, that is generally been notified by UGC. So BVOC was one of such degree which was notified by UGC in I think 2013 a notification came. So we started with the two program, Bachelor Vocation. The first program was Bachelor Vocation in Mechanical Manufacturing. Second program was Bachelor Vocation in Mechatronics. Both program we started with Hero Motocorp. So what was the role of Hero Motocorp in these programs? That the programs were designed in such a way that whatever operations were there in the plant of Hero Motocorp, so the students were going, means a bachelor's program in India is a 3-year degree programs basically, after schooling of 12 year of schooling, 3 years in university. So around 1.5 year the students were with university, and remaining 1.5 year they were with the Hero Motocorp. They were there in the plant of Hero Motocorp basically. So they were working there as apprentice. So when they were working there as apprentice, so they are learning all the aspect of manufacturing of a bike. So they were well versed, well trained, or well skilled in that aspect of manufacturing, or at least manufacturing of automobiles or two-wheelers. Similarly, the others also. We started another program, and initially, I think Madhu Madam was also associated with CNX. So we started a program with Concentrix, and that program was in German language. And I think the Amazon was the vertical for which this program was designed. So that was a 1.5 year program. Half of the time, not half of the time, means 50%, around one semester, means 6 months the students were with university. So we were giving them basic training on the German language, and then next complete 1 year they were working with Concentrix. And when they were working with Concentrix, they were learning actually what is the requirement on the shop floor, so that when they have to communicate with the customers. So all those nitty-gritties they were learning when they were working with Concentrix. So this was the beauty of the programs which the university is offering, all the programs. Now as on date, we are offering around 49 different programs in the field of engineering, in the field of science, in the field of language culture, in the field of agriculture, in the field of management. So in all this program, there is invariably industry partner, and the student is going and learning what actually industry is working, how actually industry is working. So this is one aspect. Another beauty of all the programs which we are running is that when the student is working there in industry, so he is not only learning something, at the same time he is earning also. And by the courtesy of the team CNX, Madhu Madam representing, I think, CNX, the Concentrix was providing a stipend of up to rupees 25,000 per month to a student. So the range of a stipend was from 10,000 to 25,000. So a segment of a student, actually, those who wanted to learn or who wanted to get higher education, but their pocket or their financial conditions were not favorable to send them to university, all that I will say segment of society, or the student from that segment of society, started coming to the mainstream education. So this was a transformational change actually, which this skill university brought in the skill ecosystem of this country. And subsequently what happened after we started functioning, as on date now we are having around 3,000 students, and we started a school also, from a school up to PhD program, means we are offering all sort of programs, certificate to UG, PG, PhD, everything. Now in India, the different state governments started setting up such universities. As on date, we are having around 16 different skill universities. Most of the states are having their own skill university. So this is something about some background of the skill university. Now, how these universities or how government system is working for the inclusivity, especially for the PWD, I'm sure that all of you will be aware that the government has made a provision of reservation, of vertical reservation, or sorry, horizontal reservation of 3% in all category, in almost everything, means either if it is a recruitment or the student selection, so 3% seats are reserved for the student with PWD. But just reserving seats for the student of PWD was not sufficient actually, because the student may not be again financially sound or have all the basic aids about which ma'am was also discussing to come to university and study the program. So again, I will just give you an example that how corporates started supporting this initiative. So recently, again, our biggest contributor, our biggest partner is Concentrix. So Concentrix supported us with a scholarship fund of rupees 1 crore. So 1 crore rupees is given by Concentrix, and that 1 crore is for 3 years to give his scholarship to students. And each year, 25 students will be identified, 25 students from PWD category will be identified. They will be skilled, and finally the CNX will support us in their placement. So a complete chain actually, means identifying a student. So for that, government has created a provision that 3% seats. When I'm saying 3%, that's a good number. Since our intake capacity is around 2000, so 2000 का 3% sufficient number है. और इन 3% को अगर एक कॉर्पोरेट स्कॉलरशिप देने के लिए तैयार है, मीन्स कंप्लीट ऑल एक्सपेंसेस ऑफ दैट स्टूडेंट इज बॉर्न बाय द कॉर्पोरेट, तो वो जो स्टूडेंट है जिसको लगता है कि मुझे एडमिशन तो मिल गया लेकिन आगे की पढ़ाई कैसे करनी है, फॉर दैट वी आर गेटिंग सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द कॉर्पोरेट. सो दिस इज़ अ मॉडल एक्चुअली विच इज़ एस्टेब्लिश्ड इन श्री विश्वकर्मा स्किल यूनिवर्सिटी. और यहाँ पर ख़त्म नहीं हो रहा है ये बॉन्डिंग, जो एक ख़त्म नहीं हो रही है. मैंने कहा एक स्टेप फर्दर है, और वो स्टेप है कि उसके बाद जब प्लेसमेंट की बारी आती है तो प्लेसमेंट में भी उस तरह के जॉब रोल्स को आइडेंटिफाई करके अप्रोप्रिएटली उनको किस तरह से प्लेस किया जाए. तो ओवरऑल इफ सपोज वी वांट टू क्रिएट अ इकोसिस्टम ऑफ इंक्लूसिविटी for PWD person, I think this model can work, and all other means only skill university or Haryana skill university or institute like Sarthak or training centers like Sarthak may not be able to train the total numbers which are there in the country. So what can be done? Similar type of the model can be established for other training centers, for other institutes also. So what can be done? I will add on what ma'am was telling, that CSR is restricting. Suppose you are training your people, you cannot employ your people to your industry. So what can be done in such situation, that the companies like you can tie up with universities like us, the institutions like Sarthak, and identify the job roles. That see, for this category of PWD, we are having such type of the job roles available in our company, and we want such type of the training. So identifying the job role, identifying the content, that what training should be given, and that training can be imparted by the institute like us or any other training institute. Once that training is completed, these peoples can be employed, or they can be placed appropriately. So unless we don't create a mechanism of placement, just barely giving training, I think will not suffice, or will not meet the requirement, complete requirement of that inclusivity. So I think jointly all of us can work for such a model, and during the deliberation further, if suppose any other point will come, I would be happy to reply on all such points which will be emerged during the further deliberation. Thank you. Thanks once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Randhir. Couple of questions on what you said. You said there is a reservation of 3% while admitting, and also in the jobs what they get. So what do you feel, is the 3% exhausted always, or is it less, or it is always achieved, or it is underutilized? What's your comment there?
Thank you. So really a very relevant question. We are not getting 3% student, even students in recruitment also. Recently we did recruitment, and around 100 posts were advertised. Out of 100 posts, 3 posts were reserved for PWD people, but we could not get sufficient application, and we will have to re-advertise that. So this is the situation in recruitment. The reason may be because the basic eligibility, the qualifications, or the distance actually, that the place where we are located, maybe possibly they will not be able to, or they are not willing to travel up to this place. Same is the situation with the students also, because 3% means again a good number of students must be there, but in our system as on date, out of around 3,000 I was telling, I don't think that more than 50 students will be there in the system. So the challenge may be because the students are looking, such students are looking the training opportunities or education opportunity in the institute which are located in their vicinity, in the nearby places. Definitely parents भी नहीं चाहते होंगे कि अपने बच्चे को कहाँ भेजें, कैसे रहेगा, वो बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होते हैं बेसिकली. तो वो कोटा अभी एग्जॉस्ट नहीं हो रहा है सर, उसमें गैप है. जॉइंटली अगेन हम सबको काम करना पड़ेगा.
So you mentioned that there are almost 16 universities in the country, mostly by the state governments, and you have a statement made that there is always a shortfall of the quotas being utilized. Can you develop a portal amongst these 16 universities and likewise institutions like maybe Sarthak or any else, which we already have an existing portal as well? So if we can plug in and see that what kind of expertise is available where, and where does the candidate is available. So map, if you can do that mapping also behind as some kind of effort involving us or any other similar institutions, I think the issue of job being available at X place, person being available at Y place, and the third dimension is a Z place, so that could be sorted out and people could really utilize to their extent. That is one suggestion. Secondly, a lot of these people are not able to access the availability, or the information access is a problem. So again, on that aspect, we have a few apps which we have developed. But apart from that, I think you need to do a work on that a lot in terms of how to process this information to these people, because they may be skilled but not educated, not having access to various media or various information systems. So I think you need to strengthen that, because in one hand we have a population excess in this country, on one hand we have no jobs for people in the country, on one hand we have disability almost 6% in the country, and on the contrary you say that the 3% quotas are not being filled. So I think there is some basic gap which does exist to really weave these shortcomings and try to fulfill the criterias and get people and get them more employed. So that's one of the few suggestions. I thought I'll make it right now. Thank you very much for your informative session where you could really give us some suitable insights. Couple of successful government and CSR initiatives in skill development and employment for PwDs. Can you mention, Professor Sir, which have been a real successful model, either from a corporate perspective or a university perspective or a government perspective? Would you like to just say a 1 minute answer on that, which have been really successful?
As I mentioned that this initiative we just started with Concentrics. So that support we are getting means complete scholarship we are getting. So definitely the results will come, but this is the first batch. So I'm sure that next time when we will be meeting, so I can assure that all those students will be well trained as well as well placed also.
You would like to multiply these kind of initiatives further with different corporates? Would like to model it?
Definitely.
Okay, great. Thank you. Moving on, I will now move to Madam Madhubala Sharma. She is an expert on D&I and she has a lot of experience. She is currently the Senior Program Manager, Inclusive Experiences and Technologies, Amazon. Over to you, Madhubala ji.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much and a very good morning. सब कैसे हैं? नींद तो नहीं आ रही है? हम लोग पका तो नहीं रहे हैं? हम खाना खाकर आए हैं, वैसे हमारा आपको पकाने का कोई मूड नहीं है, and I'm a vegetarian. So the topic is very interesting and जो topic जो हम conversations कर रहे हैं बहुत interesting है, impactful है, सबके लिए बहुत learnings इसमें हो सकती हैं. And before I share what I want to share, I want to just point and make a couple of observations. जो अभी प्रोफेसर राठौर ने बात करी, एक सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज जो हमें ओवरकम करना है, जिससे हम स्किल गैप भी ओवरकम कर सकते हैं और जो खाली पोजीशंस हैं उनको भी भर सकते हैं, कि अगर मान लीजिए सर ने कहा कि देयर आर 49 कोर्सेज दैट आर बीइंग टेकन अप बाय द यूनिवर्सिटीज़. उन 49 कोर्सेज में हमारा कॉन्वर्सेशन का थीम भी ऑन एक्सेसिबिलिटी है. Is every course accessible for a person with disability? Can a person who is blind go and enroll into that course and take up that course with ease? और अगर वो कर पाएं तो आप सोच लीजिए कि स्किलिंग कहाँ से कहाँ जा सकती है, किन ऊंचाइयों को छू सकती है. And that kind of deliberation and that kind of network, connections and work and influencing all of us need to do. That whatever course, starting from the ground level, whatever course we have, if that course is made accessible, एंड एक्सेसिबिलिटी होती क्या है, एक्सेसिबिलिटी का मतलब क्या है, ये हम सबको समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है, बिकॉज एक्सेसिबिलिटी इज़ अ वेरी ब्रॉड टर्म. एक्सेसिबल क्या होता है? लेट मी आस्क एनीवन फ्रॉम द ऑडियंस, एक्सेसिबिलिटी क्या होती है? कोई शेयर करना चाहेंगे? ओके, जहां हम पहुंच पा रहे हैं, दैट इज एक्सेसिबिलिटी. एनी अदर थॉट्स? इंडिपेंडेंटली एक्सेस कर पा रहे हैं और चीज का इस्तेमाल कर पा रहे हैं. अब देखिए, अगर हमारे पास हमें कोई किताब पढ़नी है, कोई बुक पढ़नी है, और हम सीधा उसको बुक शेल्फ से उठाकर पढ़ सकें, तो वो हमारे लिए एक्सेसिबिलिटी है. लेकिन अगर हम नहीं पढ़ पा रहे हैं, जैसे कि दोज ऑफ अस हु आर ब्लाइंड नहीं पढ़ पा रहे हैं, हमें अगर वो ऑडियो बुक में दे दी जाए, दैट इज एक्सेसिबिलिटी, राइट? सो एक्सेसिबिलिटी पे काम जब हम करना शुरू कर देंगे एट अ ग्राउंड लेवल, that is when it will become accessible. Friends, you already know me. My name is Madhubala Sharma, and I happen to be a person with disability myself. I am a part of the community. I am totally blind since birth, and I worked with Amazon. I've been in the corporate for a very, very long time, but I'm not that old. I call myself forever 21. So I worked with Concentrix for close to 17 years, and then I'm working now with Amazon. I've also been a JAWS tester. JAWS is a screen reader used by people with disabilities. And for the purpose of this panel, this conversation, I will share perspectives on what Amazon has been up to and how we can, partner even more and make it a better place for everyone. So, first thing, we just learned about accessibility. We spoke about accessibility. And what we believe is that for us to make things more accessible and inclusive, you see, there are 3 approaches that we can take. Approach number 1, जो हम अक्सर लेते हैं, is हम सोचते हैं कि अभी चैलेंज आया है तो उसको सॉल्व कैसे करें. मतलब कि अरे एक्सेसिबिलिटी ब्रेक हो गई, चलो डेवलपर को बोलो या किसी को बोलो इसका सोल्यूशन निकाले. दैट इज कॉल्ड अ बोल्टेड ऑन अप्रोच. एक हैमर लेके ठक ठक करके उसके अंदर हम सोल्यूशन को बोल्ट कर रहे हैं, बोल्टेड ऑन. लेकिन अब थोड़ी सी और प्रोग्रेशन हो रही है. वी आर ट्राइंग टू थिंक थ्रू एंड बिल्ड इन एक्सेसिबिलिटी इनटू आवर सॉल्यूशंस, और बिल्ड इन inclusion and access and reach for everyone into our solutions. That's called built in. एक थर्ड और एस्पिरेशनल लेवल है जिसपे हम सबको जाना है. दैट इज कॉल्ड बॉर्न इंक्लूसिव. मतलब कि जैसे ही कोई सोल्यूशन हमने सोचा, कुछ हमने डिज़ाइन किया, उसके डिज़ाइन स्टेज में ही हमने इंक्लूजन को बिल्ड इन कर दिया. और कुछ भी बॉर्न इंक्लूसिव कब होगा? जब वो बॉर्न एक्सेसिबल होगा. मतलब कि हमने एक रेस्टोरेंट बनाया, उसमें हमने पहले से ही सोचा एक मुख बधिर बच्चा या कोई खाना खाने आने चाहे तो वो कैसे आएंगे. एक व्हीलचेयर यूज़र अगर यहाँ पर इस रेस्टोरेंट में आए तो वो कैसे आए. एक ब्लाइंड व्यक्ति आए तो कैसे आए. कोई न्यूरो डाइवर्जेंट है तो इस रेस्टोरेंट में खाने पीने के लिए आए तो कैसे आए. अगर आपने रेस्टोरेंट बना दिया, वेटर बड़ा मस्त हायर कर दिया जो खाना इतना अमेजिंग बनाता है कि आप उंगलियां भी खा जाओ, लेकिन अगर आप अपने उस रेस्टोरेंट के अंदर जा ही नहीं सकोगे तो कोई पॉइंट है. तो जब उसकी एक्सेसिबिलिटी आप इंक्लूजन डिज़ाइन स्टेज में कर दोगे, दैट इज़ व्हेन इट बिकम्स बॉर्न इंक्लूसिव. एंड दैट इज़ व्हाट वी एज गवर्नमेंट्स, एज ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, NGOs, corporates, we need to ensure that we design our solutions from inclusive from day one, from the first thought, the seed of the thing that you're doing. At that seed stage, when you think of inclusion and accessibility, that is when we will be successful. A few things, as an organization, Amazon is coming up a long way, and we have been doing a lot of things to make inclusion a priority. And a few things that I want to share with you is, one, this very GRC that we are in at this point in time, Global Resource Center. We at Amazon partnered with for Sarthak and in terms of the funding, in terms of the collaboration, for two broad areas: skilling and employment. Only when there is skilling can be employment, right? So हमारा focus skilling पे है और हमारा focus employment पे है, ताकि हम root पे challenges को solve कर पाए और आगे बढ़ पाए. The other thing that we have been successfully doing is, and which has really benefited us, is partnership with the governments. We have an understanding, an MOU that we've been working with for the last 2 years with the Department of Education for People with Disabilities, the Skill Council, not just the central government, we've also been working, we have tie-ups with the state governments, and with that collaboration, with that tie-ups, within our organization, we have about 6% of people with disabilities employed in various functions. It is corporates, it can be operations. Our people with disabilities are taking up different roles like, in operations. In fact, there is a special delivery station which is actually run by people with disabilities. And this is called the Silent Delivery Station. I'm not too fond of the name, but yeah, what's there in a name, as Shakespeare once said, right? But this station is run by all those people who are deaf and hard of hearing. And that is a kind of success that we are reaching. The other thing, so of course we have our partnership with this, with Sarthak and the governments. The other thing that I want to share with you is our reach in the community, and how we partner with the community and make accessibility a priority in the community. Who doesn't know Alexa, right? Our friend, Alexa. And Alexa is our very own, beautiful person who actually enables skill development. So we are using Alexa. We have partnership with National Association for the Blind, and we are using Alexa as a teaching aid for children who are blind, low vision. So that is another initiative which actually benefits us in building smart classrooms. Now imagine if a child is studying in a smart classroom, the kind of development that this person will get, this child will get, the kind of shaping this child will get. Then this child, when this child grows up and faces an interview or goes to a skill university, a Vishwakarma skill university or any skill university, the kind of confidence that child will have would be amazing. And then when that child grows up into an adult and faces an interview, that time this child will not have that हीन भावना, मैं किसी से कम हूँ, मुझे ये नहीं आता या मुझे वो नहीं आता, मैं कैसे settle हूँ. वो inclusion, वो adaptability पहले से ही मिल चुका होगा. So those are the kind of initiatives that we are undertaking. We also have Amazon's Future Engineering program, where we upskill girls and children basically. We provide them grants to upskill them and take up the engineering roles as well. And rest assured, we are totally committed. We are coming along, and every day, it's not a destination that we have reached. It's a journey that we are on, and we will continue to progress as we go. To conclude, before I hand it back to you, I'll just say that people with disabilities are the largest minority. Statistically कहते हैं कि 5% है, 6% है, लेकिन इतना कम नहीं है. A lot of people don't even come and share कि disability है because of taboos या stigma कि नौकरी मिलेगी कि नहीं, हमें society में जीने ढंग से दिया जाएगा कि नहीं बताते हैं. Statistically, there are about 20% of the world's population that has one or another form of disability. And when we flip the question from disability to difficulty, that percentage goes up to 60%. Even all of us sitting here have one or another form of difficulty. किसी के चश्मे घर पे रह गए तो नहीं दिखेगा, right? अच्छे से. कभी ramps लेने में हम चाहते हैं कि हम ramp use करें because we may be finding it difficult to climb stairs. Or we might be finding it difficult to listen from a distance, and hence we prefer closed captioning. So we do face difficulties, then the number grows up to 60%. And for the rest 40% of us, it becomes life insurance. Because disability can happen to anyone at any given point in time. It doesn't say, knock knock, मैं कल आऊंगी और मैं परसों आऊंगी. It just comes unannounced, right? So disability, accessibility, inclusion, policies, collaboration matters for each one of us. We are not making these policies and bridges for anyone else but ourselves. That's something that I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu Balaji, for your energetic, passionate, and a very meaningful session. And your thoughts and your organization thoughts on how to make it more inclusive are really appreciable. And your partnership with Sarthak for all walks of life with the Divyangjan people. Your pointer on the accessibility by design is a very important aspect. So accessibility and information to these community is very, very important. And inclusion by priority, that's also is a very forceful statement. We have done fantastic initiatives like your silent delivery station. Though you said you are not happy with the name, but I do agree. But definitely it's over a period of time, if you are there from the hustle and bustle of your daily life and you are at a delivery station, which is a silent one, I think you are much at a better place, much better occupied. Alexa, beautiful example of Alexa being used for various initiatives with the Divyangjan. So yes, I do agree. Anybody can have any difficulty or disability at any given point of life, and as you grow in age, I think these are the challenges you will face without denying them and without even informing you, but definitely they are there. I will also take this opportunity.
Geetanjali ji and Madhu Bala Sharma ji. So this is a replica of Sarthak Global Resource Center, and the purpose why we have created this is when you come to Sarthak Global Resource Center, you have given lot to Sarthak through the years. We want you to take little bit of Sarthak along with yourself. So this memento, this replica will remind you of Sarthak, remind you of Divyangjan in all your acts, in all your movements, in all your thoughts. And that's what is needed. Thank you.
So thank you to Jasmine for a wonderful support all along the session with her. Jasmine, is that right?
Soumya.